What if I told you that there was an NHL player who physically couldn't seem to score a normal goal? From stunning overtime winners to his iconic, impossible-to-replicate clutch shots, Leon Draisaitl was truly one of the greatest scorers in NHL history, and his clips are honestly absolutely incredible to watch. But how did he develop this unique skill that allowed him to outplay Connor McDavid when it mattered most? And why did he deliberately choose to stay in McDavid's shadow instead of fighting for the recognition he deserved? Well, to find out, we have to go back to 2014. The Edmonton Oilers, led by their third overall pick, Leon Draisaitl, were set to face the arrival of Connor McDavid in the 2015 draft. But how is it that a kid from Cologne, Germany, a country where hockey is barely noticed, was competing with the most hyped prospect since Wayne Gretzky? Well, Leon, whose family had moved to Canada when his father Peter finished his Olympic hockey career. Thanks to the fact that his dad had taught him the European style of thinking the game differently, had developed into one of Germany's top prospects. The hours he spent alone working on his shot and vision were crucial, and his unique ability to see plays that others couldn't was key. He was learning to read defenses and find scoring chances that normal players would never see. This German approach to hockey, combined with his size and skill, meant Draisaitl was just 1 year away from proving that being drafted behind McDavid didn't mean he was the worst player. While every scout in North America was chasing the next Connor McDavid, fast, flashy Canadian forwards who could skate circles around everyone, they completely missed the quiet German kid who was learning hockey in a totally different way. Draisaitl played many sports as a child, including association football, but was most interested in ice hockey. As an adolescent, Draisaitl played with the Kellner Haia under-16 team and the Adler Mannheim under-18 team, while skating on the side with the Ravensburg Tower Stars, a team his father coached. During the 2011-12 German Development League season, Draisaitl recorded 21 goals and 56 points in 35 games for Jungadler Mannheim and was named the league's Player of the Year. But here's the crazy part. No NHL scouts were even watching German hockey back then. While McDavid was getting followed by dozens of scouts at every game, Leon was dominating in Germany where nobody cared. His father, Peter, who had played in 3 Olympics for Germany, was teaching him something most North American kids never learned: how to read the ice like a chessboard instead of just charging forward like a bull. His upbringing in Germany provided him with a unique perspective on hockey, blending European style with the intensity of the NHL. This background has played a pivotal role in his development as a player. The European way was all about patience, vision, and finding the perfect moment to strike. While Canadian kids were being taught to shoot first and think later, Leon was learning to see plays 3 moves ahead. That's why he became so clutch later. He wasn't just reacting to what was happening. He was already thinking about what was going to happen next. When he finally made it to North America and joined the Prince Albert Raiders, coaches couldn't believe how this German kid could find passes that nobody else could even see coming. June 27th, 2014, Philadelphia, the NHL draft. This was supposed to be Leon's moment. After dominating in Germany and proving himself in North America, scouts were finally starting to notice the German kid who could do things with the puck that made no sense. But as he sat in that arena, watching pick after pick go by, the painful truth was becoming clear. Being different wasn't always enough. The top 3 selections were Aaron Ekblad by the Florida Panthers, Sam Reinhart by the Buffalo Sabres, and Leon Draisaitl by the Edmonton Oilers. First overall, Aaron Ekblad, a defenseman. Second overall, Sam Reinhart, another center. Leon sat there watching 2 teams pass on him, knowing he was better than both of these guys. When the Edmonton Oilers made Leon Draisaitl the highest drafted German-born player in NHL history with the 3rd overall pick, they did so in order to inject a needed big-bodied, high-skill center into a lineup littered with top offensive draft picks. What hurt the most wasn't just the draft position. It was knowing that next year, everyone would be going crazy over Connor McDavid. The hockey world was already talking about this Canadian kid like he was the next Wayne Gretzky, and Leon hadn't even played his first NHL game yet. But there was one person in Edmonton who saw something different. Craig McTavish, the Oilers coach, watched Leon's tape and didn't see a consolation prize. He saw a player who thought the game 3 steps ahead of everyone else. This kid doesn't just play hockey, McTavish said. He sees hockey differently than anyone I've ever watched. The 2014-15 season was when Leon got his first taste of what playing in McDavid's shadow would feel like, even though McDavid wasn't even in the league yet. Draisaitl appeared in 37 games for the Oilers for the first half of the 2014-15 season. recording 2 goals and 7 assists for 9 points, before being returned to the Prince Albert Raiders. Everyone said his rookie year was a disappointment. 2 goals in 37 games? The media was already writing him off as a bust. But here's what nobody was talking about. While Leon was struggling to adjust to the NHL, he was learning things that would make him unstoppable later. When he got sent back to junior hockey, he didn't sulk. He got traded to the Kelowna Rockets and absolutely dominated. Draisaitl helped the Rockets to the 2015 WHL Championship, where he was named playoff MVP after scoring 28 points in 19 games. Draisaitl won the Stafford Smythe Trophy as Memorial Cup MVP the same year. 28 points in 19 playoff games. That's not normal. That's generational. Meanwhile, the hockey world was getting ready for McDavid. Despite appearing in only 45 games due to injury, McDavid finished his rookie season with 16 goals and 32 assists, 4th in rookie scoring. When McDavid finally arrived in 2015-16, he put up 48 points in 45 games before getting hurt. Everyone called it the greatest rookie season ever. But Leon, he had 51 points in 72 games that same year, and nobody said a word about it. The media was so busy talking about McDavid's injury comeback that they completely missed the fact that this German kid was quietly putting up almost identical numbers while playing a full season. That's when Leon realized he was going to have to be twice as good to get half the credit. April 12th, 2017, Game 6, Edmonton versus San Jose, second round of the playoffs. This was the moment Leon Draisaitl was supposed to prove he belonged with the elite players in the NHL. And boy, did he deliver. On May 7th, 2017, in round 2, Game 6 of the 2017 Stanley Cup playoffs, Leon scored a hat trick, becoming the first Edmonton Oilers player to record a playoff hat trick since Bill Guerin on April 18th, 2000. The crowd at Rogers Place was going absolutely crazy. Leon wasn't just scoring goals, he was scoring them in ways that made McDavid look ordinary. First goal, a perfect wrist shot top shelf that beat the goalie clean. Second goal, a one-timer from the slot that nearly broke the net. Third goal, a clutch power play goal that sealed the game. 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points total. McDavid, 2 assists. That's it. The head-to-head stats that night told the whole story. Draisaitl, 4 points, 6 shots, plus 2. McDavid, 2 points, 3 shots, plus 1. Leon had outplayed the Golden Boy on the biggest stage possible. But here's what happened the next day. Every sports reporter was talking about McDavid's incredible playmaking and how his 2 assists showed his unselfish leadership. Leon's hat trick? It got mentioned in passing like it was no big deal. The headlines read, "McDavid leads Oilers to victory," while Leon's historic performance was buried in the 3rd paragraph. That's when Leon realized the truth. He could score 5 goals, and McDavid would still get credit for the win. The secret was becoming clear. No matter what Leon did, the hockey world would find a way to make it about McDavid. Let's talk about the 2019-20 season, the year that should have changed everything. By the time the season ended, Draisaitl had notched 43 goals and a league-leading 67 assists and 110 points in 71 games played. McDavid, 97 points in 64 games. Leon beat McDavid in every major category. Total points, assists, points per game, you name it. Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers won the Hart Trophy as the most valuable player in the NHL. He also won the Ted Lindsay Award for Most Outstanding Player as voted by peers. But even when Leon literally won MVP, the media found ways to give McDavid credit. Draisaitl benefits from playing with McDavid, they said. Never mind that Leon had more points when they played apart than together. Never mind that he carried the team when McDavid was injured. The pattern was obvious. Leon could win every award in hockey, and people would still call him McDavid's sidekick. The clutch factor was even more obvious. In big games, Leon showed up while McDavid disappeared. Game-winning goals? Leon had 10 that season, tied for the league lead. McDavid had 4. Overtime goals? Leon was unstoppable. But somehow McDavid was still considered the better player. Then came the 2024 playoffs, and everything Leon had worked for almost disappeared in an instant. A year ago, he looked anything but elite. His aches and pains resulted in just 3 assists in 7 games against the Panthers, a series in which he never really looked like himself. Hand and rib injuries had completely destroyed his game. Leon was playing hurt, really hurt, but nobody knew how bad it was until later. The doctors were brutal. Significant structural damage, they said. Might never be the same player, the experts whispered. Career-defining injury, the headlines read. For months, Leon couldn't even lift his arms above his head without shooting pain. While Leon was fighting just to get healthy, McDavid was putting up massive numbers and cementing his place as the league's best player. The gap that Leon had worked so hard to close was getting bigger every day. But Leon had something that McDavid never needed: the hunger of someone who had to prove himself over and over again. This time around, he's feeling much fresher as part of the Oilers' attempt at retribution against the Panthers. The grinding rehab process was hell. Months of painful exercises, slow progress, setbacks that made him wonder if he'd ever be the same. But Leon used that pain as fuel. He knew that when he came back, he'd have to be better than ever just to get back to where he was. October 2024, the season opener. Leon stepped onto the ice for the first time since that devastating playoff loss, and you could feel the electricity in Rogers Place. The fans knew what he'd been through. They'd waited all summer to see if their secret superstar was really back. Within the first 5 minutes, Leon threw a perfect cross-ice pass that set up a goal, and the crowd erupted. This wasn't just the old Leon. This was something different, something better. The numbers were absolutely insane. Draisaitl ended the 2024-25 season with 52 goals and 54 assists for 106 points in 71 games. His 52 goals earned him his first career Rocket Richard Trophy as the league's top goal scorer. But here's the crazy part. He did it while playing fewer games than almost everyone else. His points per game rate was through the roof. He set a single-season NHL record with 6 overtime goals, the most in NHL history. When the game was on the line, Leon was automatic. The clutch moments started piling up immediately. November 15th against Boston, overtime winner. December 8th against Toronto, game-tying goal with 30 seconds left, then the overtime winner. January 20th against Vegas, hat trick in a must-win game. Every time the Oilers needed a hero, Leon stepped up. "He's as clutch as it gets," goaltender Calvin Pickard said while sitting next to Draisaitl. "Always scores big goals at big times." Even Connor McDavid was running out of ways to praise him. "You can't put a number on it. He's invaluable. There's so many good things he does. You name it, he does it. And he doesn't get enough credit for his defensive abilities. There's not many, maybe nobody, better." Finally, the media started paying attention. For the first time in years, major outlets were running stories asking if Draisaitl was actually better than McDavid. The German goal machine became his new nickname. TSN ran a segment called The Draisaitl Debate, where former players argued he was the most complete player in hockey. It only took him winning the goal-scoring title while McDavid didn't even crack the top 10 for people to notice what had been obvious for years. May 2025, the Stanley Cup playoffs. This was Leon's time to show the world what real clutch looked like. While other superstars wilted under pressure, Leon got better. This is becoming Leon Draisaitl's Stanley Cup final for the Edmonton Oilers. The standout German forward has scored the overtime goal in each of their 2 wins in the championship series rematch against the Florida Panthers. Game after game, Leon was the difference maker. Draisaitl's 4 overtime goals this playoffs are the most in a single postseason. He's just the 5th player in NHL history and first in more than 3 decades to score twice in overtime in the final. Game 1 against Florida, overtime winner. Game 4 against Florida, another overtime winner after the team was down 3-0. Leon Draisaitl's 11th goal of the playoffs ended Game 4 in extra time for the Oilers. This was his NHL record 4th overtime game-winning goal in the 2025 postseason, the most ever in the Stanley Cup playoffs. His teammates couldn't believe what they were watching. "It's incredible," longtime teammate Ryan Nugent-Hopkins said. "He's a horse out there for us, just always. It's constant, it's consistent. We always can lean on him, and he always finds a way to get those big ones." The national media finally had to acknowledge what was happening. Draisaitl is making his case for the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP, the award McDavid won last year in a losing effort and refused to leave the locker room to accept. Here's the head-to-head comparison that says everything. This postseason, McDavid leads the playoffs with 32 points, while Draisaitl is tied with 32 points. But Leon has 11 goals to McDavid's 6. More importantly, Leon's goals came in the biggest moments. Overtime winners, game-tying goals, series-clinching scores. McDavid's points looked pretty in the box score, but Leon's points actually won games. Among players who have appeared in at least 35 playoff games, McDavid ranks 3rd in points per game in NHL history. Draisaitl ranks 4th. As Leon entered what might be his final years as an elite player, something interesting happened. The players around the league started talking about him differently. Leon, I don't know what could be said that really conveys what he brings to our team, not only the leadership, but the play, Coach Chris Knobloch said. He has just elevated his game in the toughest moments. Other superstars would pull him aside after games and tell him what fans already knew. He was the most underrated superstar in hockey. When you asked NHL players who they'd want on their team in a Game 7, Leon's name came up more than anyone except maybe Sidney Crosby. He'd become the player's player, the guy that other professionals respected most because they knew how hard it was to do what he did. The clutch reputation was unmatched. Known as the guy you want in big moments, Leon had turned being overlooked into his superpower. While McDavid got the flashy highlights, Leon got the wins. But even now, in 2025, with a Rocket Richard Trophy, an MVP award, and countless clutch performances, the narrative hasn't completely changed. McDavid still gets mentioned first when people talk about the best players in the world. Leon is still introduced as McDavid's teammate, instead of one of the greatest goal scorers of his generation. Some things never change. But Leon stopped caring about the headlines a long time ago. He's currently in the Stanley Cup Final, tied with McDavid for the playoff scoring lead, making history every night he plays. At 29 years old, Leon Draisaitl has proven that being different isn't a weakness, it's a strength. And while the casual fans might still not know his name, everyone who matters knows the truth. When the game is on the line, there's nobody you'd rather have than the German, who learned to be great in McDavid's shadow. So here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. Leon Draisaitl has 956 career points in 790 games. Connor McDavid has 1,082 points in 712 games. Yeah, McDavid has more total points, but look deeper. In the playoffs, when it actually matters, Leon has 1.48 points per game compared to McDavid's 1.59. But here's the kicker. Leon has 73 playoff goals to McDavid's 64, despite playing fewer playoff games. More goals, fewer games. That's the definition of clutch. The clutch factor isn't even close. Leon Draisaitl set the NHL record for most overtime goals in a single season with 6. He holds the record for most overtime goals in a single playoff run with 4. When the game is tied and everything is on the line, Leon is automatic, while McDavid makes pretty passes. Leon has won the Hart Trophy as league MVP. He's won the Rocket Richard Trophy as the top goal scorer. He's been to 2 Stanley Cup Finals and has a real shot at winning it all. McDavid, still chasing his first cup. Here's the team success argument that nobody talks about. In games where both players are on the ice together, Edmonton scores at a rate of 4.4 goals per 60 minutes. When neither are on the ice, they only score 2.03 goals per 60. But here's what's crazy. In games where Leon plays without McDavid, his individual numbers actually go up. Meanwhile, McDavid has never carried a team to success without elite players around him. The real reason Leon became better is exactly because he was in McDavid's shadow. While McDavid got comfortable being called the best, Leon was hungry every single night. Every goal, every assist, every clutch moment was Leon proving he belonged. McDavid never had to fight for respect. It was handed to him on draft day. Leon had to earn every bit of recognition, and that hunger made him unstoppable when the pressure was highest. So let me ask you this. Do you think Leon Draisaitl was actually better than Connor McDavid when it mattered most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video opened your eyes to just how incredible Leon's career has been, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into hockey's hidden stories. This video took countless hours of research and editing to put together, and your support means everything to us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.